A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord, and in our top stories, government's Building Blocks project nears completion. The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation welcomes its first chief executive officer. Health professionals discuss COVID-19 and its relationship with childhood obesity. And in sports, the Windies will support the Black Lives Matter movement in the first test.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
And in our top story, after more than 8 weeks away from the physical classroom setting and several weeks of online sessions, Class 4 children finally returned to their respective schools across the island. Now, the day, which also saw the introduction of new COVID-19 protocols, was also filled with a mixture of emotions. Rianne Phillips visited some of the schools and tells us more.
I'm a little nervous and also a little afraid because the coronavirus is still rampaging everywhere.
I feel great because I get to see my friends.
I don't feel very comfortable at the moment, but I feel like when time goes on, I will get more comfortable.
Those were just the opinions of some Class 4 students of the Blackman and Gollop Primary on their first day back for in-person instruction. Their classes were relocated to the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology due to work being done at their Staple Grove site. And their colleagues at Grantley Prescott Memorial Primary also shared similar emotions.
I feel good because I could come back and see my friends. Good. Love to see my friends. I have fun with them. I love to do work.
However, Principals Patrona Holder and Belinda Martindale said the first day went well, given the introduction of new COVID-19 protocols.
The first day went pretty smooth. The children, well, they have mixed feelings because they've enjoyed the online classes over the past few weeks. And they know you have to root them up out of that environment and bring them now into the physical environment. We have split the 92 children into 2 different days, Mondays and Wednesdays, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that is to reduce the amount of persons on the compound. We want to have a smaller set of assembly while they're conducting the classes.
We had about 47 children coming back today. Out of 10, I can say that we scored a perfect 10. They all came prepared and they followed all the protocols from what we saw so far. So I was very satisfied that the parents really were compliant and that they did what they had to do. So I'm satisfied that everything is going well.
As the weeks progress, these students will continue to prepare for the common entrance examination. However, many of them are still divided about it.
I was sort of happy that we got a date to do it because I was really looking forward to just getting it over because it was sort of dragged out a little bit longer than I'd expected it to.
We don't have enough time or days to do the exam.
We were preparing for so long, and we really wanted it to be over, but now I feel more comfortable with the later date because it gives us more time to prepare.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the common entrance examination has been rescheduled for July 14th, 2020. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
And the acting Chief Education Officer, Joy Adamson, is happy with today's proceedings.
I would have visited 4 schools, and I'm pleased with what I've seen in terms of the signage, in terms of the markings, the 6 feet distancing, the arrangement for the classrooms, the students all on time with their mask on, teachers on time, the ancillary staff working. So I'm very pleased with what I've seen so far with the schools that I've visited.
And Ms. Addison says that there are no adverse reports from the schools regarding today's classes. She also indicated that information will be coming very soon regarding the common entrance exam.
We are going to be, by the end of this week, we should have a press release about the format for the common entrance, the location for the common entrance, how it will be instituted, obviously still following the health guidelines. So that will be communicated by the end of this week to all persons involved.
While about 15 young people are moving even closer to realizing their dream of having their own business. This as government's Building Blocks project nears completion. Now this morning, the Minister of Youth and Community Empowerment, Adrian Ford, toured the project's 4 locations. Our Sharika Griffith was there and filed this report.
Once completed, these 5 kiosks, located in Silver Hill, Christchurch, will house a clothing store, a salon, pet shop, fruit and veg stall, and a valet business. Youth Minister Adrian Ford says they will give young people who would normally be on the block the opportunity to support themselves and their families in a legal and authentic way. 6 months after the launch, the pilot phase of the project, which also includes locations in Bonnets, Parkinson Field and the Ivy, should soon be completed.
In this current environment, it got a lot to do with what's happening in the country, how accessible our stores are. We don't know what is going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And obviously the COVID environment would have to delay this project. But we are going to work with the pace to ensure that in the next couple of weeks, months, I suspect within the next weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, we should have some activities, some commercial activity in this.
Permanent Secretary Yolan Howard says the ministry is looking at additional sites for the next phase of the project.
We hope when we go into the next phase of this project to work on 8 sites in other places in Barbados and other communities in Barbados. So we are looking forward to the opening for this pilot project. We're really excited about it, and we will be working towards the second phase, and we are working towards getting those sites started as soon as possible. We've already identified some sites, and we're working with our other agencies within government to have those sites finally identified and to get the plans drawn and to work with our young people to identify the businesses.
Several participants of the Silver Hill leg have expressed gratitude for the opportunity and are already planning to give back. They want to establish a community garden where residents will have access to fruits and vegetables free of cost. Corey Kelman, who will be operating Touchless Car Detailing, explains the vision for his business.
Touchless is power wash, okay, is soap, power wash and a blower, not a chamois, because some people don't like the high-end cars touch up. So it's a blower, could blow off your water, 10 minutes. And I wouldn't even touch your car. So that's my aim, and get all these ZRs on this route, and even on Route 11, that on a night, I can have at least 20. I'm looking at that is progress for me.
Participants have already undergone training provided by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. Efforts will also be made to ensure they're equipped with the necessary marketing and accounting skills, as well as have access to facilities like the Trust Loan Fund to purchase equipment and other inventory. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Well, the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation has welcomed its first Chief Executive Officer, Sanka Price. Mr. Price arrived just after 8 this morning to a warm welcome from CBC's Acting Deputy Board Chair, Peter Boyce, and the corporation's senior management team. Rianne Phillips reports.
A number of years ago, former General Manager Dr. Alison Leacock once coined the phrase the CBC family. There's great symbolism in all of that. It is now my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the CBC family, and we look forward to working with you.
With those words, former Acting General Manager of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, Sherwood McCaskey, welcomed the new Chief Executive Officer, Sanka Price. Following the exchange, Mr. Price met Acting Deputy Board Chair Peter Boyce and the CBC senior management team. He was ushered into the boardroom.
We are very excited this morning as we are about to sit with our new CEO, Mr. Sanka Price. The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation continues in its quest to provide the Barbadian public with the best in quality entertainment. And I know from the CV of Mr. Price, you can see that he already has done a yeoman job in terms of making a contribution to the Barbados in terms of what he has done for media previously. And I look forward to him, the board looks forward to Price doing exactly the same thing at CBC.
Mr. Price, who is a veteran award-winning journalist, is excited to take up the mantle.
I'm looking forward to making a positive difference. One of the things that I found out over the weekend is how many people care about CBC. From the time that it was announced my phone was flooded with calls, and this is my landline as well as cell phone, and that says that CBC matters to Barbadians, and that is very important, that we up our game. I know we can do better. There are a lot of talented professionals here. I've interacted with them over the years, and I know that. And we will be trying to do our best to improve things so that you, the Barbadian public, will love us even more.
Mr. Price is the CBC's first CEO since the passing of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation Amendment Bill 2019. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
A 49-year-old Barbadian woman who is a repatriated cruise line worker is the island's latest COVID-19 positive patient. She was the only positive test among the 174 done yesterday. Now, the woman who arrived home on a chartered flight last Saturday was swabbed on arrival at the Grantley Adams International Airport and immediately went into quarantine at the St. Lucie District Hospital. Now, since the diagnosis, she has been transferred to the isolation facility at Harrison Point, also in St. Lucie. She brings the number of confirmed cases in Barbados to 97 and the number of people in isolation to 7, since no one will be released from isolation today. Recoveries remain at 83 and deaths at 7. The Besto Santos Public Health Lab has now completed 6,732 tests. Well, the Heart and Stroke Foundation will be undertaking a study to determine whether young people in Barbados have gained weight during the COVID-19 pandemic. This was revealed by consultant pediatrician and lead policy champion for childhood obesity prevention, Professor Anne St. John. She was a part of a 4-member panel on the People's Business last night. She says studies conducted in countries which the pandemic affected earlier than Barbados have revealed some worrisome trends.
Young people ended up eating an extra meal a day, slept for an extra hour and a half a day. They swapped out exercise for extra hours, one in screen time, and their intake of red meat and sugary drinks increased. And obesity was strongly associated. So in a cohort of students who attend the youth gym at the Heart and Stroke Foundation, we're going to now look at seeing whether they have gained weight over this period of time, 3 months to be exact.
Meanwhile, medical practitioner and health advocate Dr. Kia Lewis says Barbados needs to find more ways to get young people interested in agriculture again. She believes COVID-19 has forced people to get creative with agriculture.
Persons who would have been laid off and involved in many other sectors started doing things like produce boxes. People who were at home and had a lot of time, a lot of people started growing their own food and eating it, and it was all over Facebook, all over Instagram. So people were using the social media to promote what they were doing. And so I think that there's a lot of room in Barbados. We just need to tap into what the young people are interested in. We need to utilize social media. We need them to understand that there is money in agriculture, and we need to provide these support systems for them to set up farms, whether it is that we're going to provide loans so that they can buy land. Once we get the interest generated in agriculture, then it is to provide that support so that we can begin to grow more of what we eat.
Well, the Chinese embassy in Barbados has made another donation of personal protective equipment and swabs to the Ministry of Health in its fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. China's ambassador to Barbados, Yang Shushen, made the presentation at DHL's headquarters last week. He says they stand committed to assisting Barbados during these difficult times with items that are needed.
The first batch comes from Hunan Provincial People's Government, which contains 10,000 N95 respirators, 20,000 surgical face masks, 500 surgical protective gowns, and 500 medical protective goggles. And the second batch of donation are 3,000 swabs, which, although not big in size, not expensive in price, but as many medical experts told me, are indispensable for testing COVID-19 and currently in terribly shortage internationally, and many countries have restricted their exports already. They are donated by the Chinese company China Complant.
Senior Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Arthur Phillips, says the partnership with China has been of great benefit.
We are appreciative of the continued support, the presence of the specialist Chinese medical teams, the continued donations, including this donation of PPE as well as swabs and viral transport media. These will be an important part of our effort going forward in terms of our capacity to continue to deal with COVID-19 for the benefit of the people of Barbados.
Barbadians are being urged to use their voices and access to social media to defend the human rights of the country's senior citizens. This call from the Barbados Association of Retired Persons on World Elder Day, Abuse Awareness Day, celebrated today. President of BARP, Marlon Rice Bowen, says elder abuse, which can be physical, sexual, or financial, affects 1 in every 6 seniors across the world. And the violators are usually people entrusted with their care and, on occasion, loved ones.
The Barbados Association of Retired Persons invites Barbadians to denounce this act of human indignity and to be cognizant of the red flags of elder abuse and to lift your voices. Elder abuse can't be erased without action. The red flags: unexplained signs of injury such as bruises, welts, or scars; significant withdrawals of funds from the senior's account; unusual weight loss, malnutrition, dehydration; threatening, belittling, or controlling caregiver behavior; and being left dirty or unbathed.
Well, friends, family, and well-wishers ventured to Tent Bay in Bathsheba yesterday to witness the spreading of the ashes of a young man who had done his community proud. Amali Mears drowned on May Day while on a diving expedition just off Tent Bay. The event captured the attention of the nation and tugged at the heartstrings of the community, which testified to the qualities and talent of the 16-year-old. He was a musician, certified diver and fisherman, surfer, and handyman. Yesterday, the community responded again. Surfers, paddleboard men, and boaters took to the sea, heading to the location he was seen alive to sprinkle his ashes in the waters which he loved. His father, Melvin Mears, is appreciative of all the support.
Wow, today was overwhelming. I never expected so many people here to support the event. First of all, we want to thank God for everything and thank everybody. All the support being tremendous from the time this thing happened. And I really appreciate everything that happened, the people that turned out, And that kind of tells you the kind of youngster he was. To tell you the truth, the support, tremendous support that we've been getting, that's what really helped me bring me through this.
Well, still to come, restaurants in the Bahamas operating under the government's phased economic recovery plan. Then we have sports, but first this tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Keep your personal information private. Do not post your name, ID number, address, or any other personal information online. A cyberbully can use this information against you and pretend to be you on social media. This tip is brought to you in association with the Child Care Board and UNICEF, helping to protect our children while they surf the web. Regional news now. The 7-member Guyana Elections Commission, or GECOM, met today to begin its deliberations on the report submitted by the Chief Elections Officer, Keith Lowenfield, regarding the recount in the disputed March 2nd regional and general elections. Now, the outcome of the meeting will provide voters with an insight as to whether or not GECOM will accept the report of the chief, who claimed that the results do not meet the standard of fair and credible elections. GECOM had undertaken the recount after both the ruling coalition, a Partnership for National Unity, and the main opposition People's Progressive Party, Civic, had claimed a victory at the polls, which had been observed by national, regional, and international observers. In the Bahamas, restaurant goers can once again enjoy outdoor seating at their favorite eateries, a move made possible under the government's phased economic recovery plan.
It's a stark difference from that of the curbside takeaways and the delivery services residents opted to take advantage of in the height of the national lockdown. Things will look a lot different as these restaurant purveyors, however, will enforce some new strict measures.
As government regulations, we must eliminate the crowding in a particular area. So therefore, we want to keep all of our patrons and our staff safe. So we are only allowing our patrons to sit down and be served. We've added some security measures as well as some extra safety measures for our patrons and our staff alike.
Patrons are also reacting, though they say they're just happy to be out, though the 9 p.m. curfew remains in place.
Because we've been locked down for like 2 months, so it's good to have a change of environment.